Welcome to the Track Pass podcast, your go-to destination for exploring the rich history, strategies, and leadership lessons of warfare. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast and sign up for the weekly newsletter. You can also explore more by visiting trackpass.com. In this episode, we take you inside the transformation that turns civilians into warriors, from the grueling endurance of the Crucible and the Forge to high-tech simulations and mental resilience training. This is the story of U.S. military boot camp across every branch. Whether it's the Marine Corps' unforgiving discipline or the Air Force's focus on leadership and precision, we explore how modern training is preparing the next generation for the demands of 21st century warfare. Origins and evolution of basic training. The roots of United States military training trace back to the Revolutionary War, when discipline and organization were in short supply among colonial forces. Baron von Steuben, a Prussian officer, arrived at Valley Forge in 1778 and transformed ragtag militias into a disciplined fighting force. His drills emphasized uniformity, physical conditioning, and battlefield tactics, laying the foundation for structured military training in America. Throughout the 19th century, the United States military formalized its approach, with West Point producing career officers and training methods evolving in response to the shifting nature of warfare. By the time of the Civil War, both Union and Confederate armies relied on drill manuals and standardized training to prepare soldiers for combat, though instruction was often brief due to the urgent need for manpower. World War I ushered in a new era of mass mobilization, requiring the military to train millions of draftees quickly and efficiently. The industrialization of war meant that soldiers needed instruction not only in marksmanship and tactics, but also in operating complex machinery, such as artillery and early armored vehicles. Training camps were established across the country, where recruits endured physical conditioning, bayonet drills, and trench warfare simulations. By World War II, the United States military expanded its training infrastructure to accommodate an unprecedented influx of recruits, refining programs to produce disciplined troops at an accelerated pace. The focus shifted toward specialized training, ensuring soldiers were equipped with the skills needed for increasingly complex battlefields. During the Vietnam War, military training evolved further to account for guerrilla warfare, emphasizing jungle survival, counterinsurgency tactics, and psychological resilience against unconventional enemy strategies. Women's integration into military training began in earnest during World War II, when organizations like the Women's Army Corps and Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Service were established. However, their training remained separate from men's and often focused on support roles rather than direct combat readiness. By the 1970s and 1980s, societal changes and evolving military needs led to the gradual implementation of coeducational training programs. Women began undergoing many of the same physical and tactical drills as their male counterparts, though disparities in training expectations persisted. Today, the military continues to refine its approach to inclusivity, ensuring that diversity strengthens unit cohesion and operational effectiveness, with ongoing discussions around combat roles, leadership opportunities, and training modifications to support a broader range of recruits. Modern military training extends far beyond physical endurance and combat tactics, integrating mental resilience, leadership development, and technological proficiency. Simulation-based training now allows recruits to practice decision-making in high-stress environments, from urban warfare to cybersecurity threats. Advanced virtual reality programs replicate battlefield scenarios, reducing risk while enhancing strategic thinking. Additionally, the military has adapted its curriculum to prepare recruits for asymmetric warfare, recognizing that future conflicts will involve cyber warfare, drone operations, and hybrid threats. As warfare evolves, so too does basic training, ensuring that today's recruits are not only physically prepared, but also mentally agile and technologically adept for the complexities of modern battlefields. Structure and phases of basic training. The duration of basic training varies by branch, reflecting the unique missions and demands of each service. Army recruits undergo a rigorous 10-week transformation at training posts such as Fort Moore and Fort Jackson, where they develop core combat skills. The Marine Corps, known for having the toughest entry training, pushes recruits through 13 grueling weeks at either Paris Island or San Diego. Navy sailors spend 8 to 10 weeks at Great Lakes, Illinois, balancing physical training with shipboard readiness. The Air Force and Space Force share a 7.5-week program at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas, emphasizing discipline, technical knowledge, and teamwork. Coast Guard training lasts 8 weeks at Cape New, New Jersey, where recruits prepare for their dual roles in law enforcement and maritime operations. Despite these differences, every branch shares a fundamental goal: to transform civilians into disciplined, capable, and mission-ready service members. Basic training follows a structured progression designed to build recruits physically, mentally, and tactically. The process begins with the reception phase, where new arrivals undergo medical screenings, vaccinations, and administrative processing before receiving their uniforms and initial gear. Once in training, recruits are immersed in military customs, discipline, and drill formations, fostering unit cohesion and attention to detail. Physical fitness is a major focus, with recruits pushed through daily workouts, obstacle courses, and endurance challenges to meet branch-specific fitness standards. As training progresses, the emphasis shifts to advanced military skills, such as marksmanship, tactical movements, and survival exercises. The final phase culminates in a major test of endurance and knowledge, often in the form of a culminating event like the Army's Forge or the Marine Corps' Crucible, before recruits graduate and move on to specialized training in their military occupational fields. Each branch tailors its training to meet its operational needs, resulting in unique areas of emphasis. The Navy prioritizes seamanship, shipboard firefighting, and damage control, ensuring recruits are prepared for the dangers of life at sea. Marine Corps training is notoriously intense, designed to forge resilience through relentless physical and mental challenges, including brutal hikes, combat water survival, and bayonet drills. The Air Force, while physically demanding, leans heavily into technical instruction, ensuring recruits grasp aerodynamics, cybersecurity principles, and aircraft maintenance fundamentals. While every service shares core military values, their training pipelines reflect the environments and missions they will face, whether on land, at sea, or in the skies. Army Basic Combat Training, BCT. Army Basic Combat Training is a physically and mentally demanding program designed to transform recruits into disciplined soldiers. A cornerstone of this transformation is the Army Combat Fitness Test, which evaluates strength, endurance, and agility through events like deadlifts, sprint drag, carry drills, and a 2-mile run. Beyond fitness, recruits endure grueling obstacle courses and ruck marches where they carry heavy loads over long distances to build endurance and resilience. Marksmanship training is a critical component, as every soldier, regardless of role, must be proficient with their rifle. Recruits also develop land navigation skills, ensuring they can maneuver in unfamiliar terrain, and receive combat lifesaver training, learning to provide emergency medical aid on the battlefield. These combined elements form the foundation of a soldier's combat readiness, preparing them for the challenges of modern warfare. Basic combat training is divided into 3 key phases, each with increasing intensity and complexity. The red phase, covering the first 3 weeks, is designed to break down individual recruits and instill military discipline. Drill instructors enforce strict routines, teaching the fundamentals of drill and ceremony, military customs, and basic warrior tasks. The white phase, spanning weeks 4 through 6, focuses on weapons training and field exercises. Recruits learn to handle and qualify with their rifles, engage in simulated combat scenarios, and spend extended time in field environments. The blue phase, the final stretch from week 7 to 10, pushes recruits through advanced tactical training, combat simulations, and leadership exercises. During this stage, they apply all they've learned in high-stress scenarios, preparing them for the ultimate test of their endurance and skills. The culmination of Army Basic Combat Training is the Forge, a grueling 96-hour event that simulates combat conditions and tests every skill recruits have acquired. Over the course of 4 days, they endure extreme physical exhaustion, navigate tactical scenarios, and work as a unit to overcome obstacles. Sleep deprivation, rationed food, and relentless challenges mirror the conditions of combat, forcing recruits to rely on their training and each other to succeed. More than just a physical challenge, the Forge is a rite of passage. Those who complete it earn the right to be called soldiers. Following graduation, recruits transition to advanced individual training, where they receive specialized instruction in their designated military occupational specialty. Whether their path leads to infantry, intelligence, or logistics, advanced individual training is where they refine their skills and prepare for their roles in the Army's mission. Marine Corps Recruit Training Boot Camp. With a downtime all-star game in combat, I had 3 recruiting trainers plus volunteer officers designed to forge individuals into warriors capable of withstanding the rigors of combat. The physical demands are relentless, with recruits undergoing daily runs, high-intensity strength training, and grueling endurance exercises. Unlike other branches, where recruits may gradually ease into their physical fitness routines, Marine Boot Camp demands peak performance from day one. Drill instructors maintain an uncompromising level of discipline, ensuring that every recruit understands that weakness, both physical and mental, is not an option. By the time training is complete, recruits will have developed an unshakable mindset and the physical endurance required to function in any combat environment. Marine Boot Camp is divided into 3 distinct phases, each escalating in intensity and complexity. Phase 1, covering the first 4 weeks, introduces recruits to Marine Corps customs, discipline, and close order drill, reinforcing the absolute obedience expected of every Marine. Physical training is a daily priority, with recruits learning to push past their perceived limits. Phase 2, spanning weeks 5 through 9, is where recruits undergo intensive weapons training, mastering the fundamentals of rifle marksmanship. Unlike other branches, where weapons proficiency is a requirement, Marines are expected to be riflemen first, regardless of their future role. During this phase, recruits also complete combat water survival training, reinforcing the Marine Corps' amphibious heritage. Field exercises introduce tactical combat maneuvers, ensuring recruits can operate effectively under battlefield conditions. The final phase of Marine Boot Camp is where recruits truly earn their place in the Corps. Covering weeks 10 through 13, this phase is centered on advanced combat training and culminates in the Crucible, a grueling 54-hour test of physical and mental endurance. Recruits endure sleep deprivation, long forced marches, and punishing problem-solving exercises designed to simulate battlefield stress. Every task reinforces teamwork, as success depends on collective resilience rather than individual effort. Those who complete the Crucible receive the coveted Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, the symbol of the United States Marine Corps, officially marking their transformation from recruits to Marines. Following graduation, these newly minted warriors move on to Marine combat training or their military occupational specialty school. But the lessons learned in boot camp will define them for the rest of their careers. Navy Boot Camp, Recruit Training Command, RTC. The Navy Boot Camp, conducted at Recruit Training Command in Great Lakes, Illinois, is designed to transform civilians into disciplined, ship-ready sailors. The training emphasizes teamwork, strict discipline, and the fundamentals of operating in a maritime environment. Unlike the land-based focus of other branches, Navy training revolves around shipboard readiness, requiring recruits to master the unique challenges of life at sea. Physical fitness remains a core component, with recruits undergoing daily strength and endurance training to ensure they meet the Navy's rigorous physical standards. Water survival is another critical focus, as every sailor must be prepared for emergency situations at sea, including treading water, deep water jumps, and swimming under stress. By the time recruits graduate, they are physically conditioned and mentally prepared for the demands of naval service. Boot camp is structured into multiple phases, beginning with processing days, also known as P-days, where recruits receive medical screenings, vaccinations, haircuts, and their initial issue of uniforms. During this time, they are introduced to the strict discipline of Navy life, learning the fundamentals of military conduct and chain of command. Over the next 7 weeks, recruits split their time between classroom instruction and hands-on training. They study naval history, customs, and traditions while also participating in seamanship drills and rigorous firefighting exercises. Shipboard damage control training is a significant focus, ensuring that every sailor can respond effectively to fires, flooding, and other emergencies. Recruits also undergo weapons training, learning the basics of firearms handling and security procedures essential to naval operations. The final and most intense phase of Navy boot camp is Battle Stations 21, a 12-hour real-time crisis simulation that tests everything recruits have learned. Taking place aboard a massive ship simulator, this event throws recruits into high-pressure scenarios, such as shipboard fires, flooding, medical emergencies, and combat situations. Every task must be completed under extreme stress, reinforcing the need for discipline, teamwork, and quick decision-making in life-or-death situations. Successfully completing Battle Stations 21 signifies that a recruit has earned the right to be called a sailor. Upon graduation, they receive their Navy insignia and move on to A School, where they begin specialized training in their assigned career field. Whether their future lies in navigation, engineering, aviation, or cybersecurity, the foundation built at Recruit Training Command prepares them for the challenges of naval service. Air Force Basic Military Training, BM. Air Force Basic Military Training, conducted at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, is structured to develop disciplined, technically skilled, and leadership-oriented airmen. While physical fitness is a core component, the Air Force places a strong emphasis on intellectual and technical proficiency, recognizing that modern warfare requires more than just brute strength. Recruits are introduced to a military lifestyle centered around precision, teamwork, and adaptability, ensuring they can function effectively in high-tech operational environments. Leadership development is also a key focus, with trainees expected to take on responsibilities and demonstrate initiative throughout their training. By the end of basic military training, airmen are not only physically prepared but also mentally conditioned for the demands of a force that thrives on intelligence, innovation, and rapid decision-making. Air Force Basic Training follows a structured timeline, beginning with Week 0, where recruits go through medical screenings, receive their uniforms, and undergo the first drill instructions that establish military discipline. Weeks 1 through 4 focus on academic instruction, physical fitness, and weapons training. Recruits learn Air Force history, customs, and core values, while also engaging in rigorous workouts designed to improve endurance and strength. During this phase, they are introduced to rifle marksmanship, although the emphasis is more on proficiency than on the deep combat focus of other branches. The final weeks, from 5 to 7, shift toward tactical training, field exercises, and leadership development, pushing recruits to apply everything they've learned under more stressful conditions. Drill instructors challenge trainees to think critically and react to simulated operational scenarios, reinforcing the strategic mindset necessary for Air Force missions. The most intense part of basic military training is Beast Week, Basic Expeditionary Airman Skills Training, a simulated deployment exercise that mirrors combat and contingency operations. Recruits are placed in a field environment where they must navigate survival situations, engage in defensive fighting drills, and work as a cohesive unit under pressure. Beast Week is designed to test adaptability and resilience, ensuring that future airmen can function effectively in austere conditions, whether deployed to remote air bases or supporting global missions. Completing Beast Week is a defining moment in Air Force training, proving that recruits are ready for operational challenges. Upon graduation, they officially earn the title of airman and transition to technical training schools where they specialize in career fields ranging from aircraft maintenance and cyber operations to intelligence and medical support. The length of technical training varies depending on the career path, but every airman leaves basic training equipped with the foundational skills necessary to excel in an Air Force built on precision, strategy, and technological superiority. Coast Guard Basic Training. Coast Guard Basic Training, held at Cape Moo, New Jersey, is distinct from other military boot camps due to the service's dual mission of law enforcement and search and rescue operations. Unlike the other branches, which primarily focus on combat readiness, the Coast Guard prepares recruits for high-stakes maritime missions, including drug interdictions, vessel boardings, and life-saving operations. This unique mission set demands rigorous water survival training, ensuring every recruit is capable of operating in harsh and unpredictable maritime environments. Physical fitness is essential, with an emphasis on endurance swimming, treading water under stress, and executing precise rescue techniques, in addition to military discipline recruits quickly learn the importance of situational awareness, as real-world missions often involve rapid decision-making in life-or-death scenarios. Coast Guard Boot Camp follows an 8-week structure, progressively building recruits' physical, technical, and operational skills. The first 3 weeks are dedicated to induction, where recruits undergo physical fitness conditioning, military discipline training, and the foundational knowledge required to function in a high-paced maritime service. From weeks 4 through 6, the focus shifts to weapons training, seamanship, and damage control, ensuring that every Coast Guardsman can handle emergencies at sea. Recruits learn the intricacies of vessel operations, including navigation techniques, fire suppression methods, and securing ships during severe weather. The final 2 weeks are dedicated to evaluations and practical tests, where recruits must demonstrate their ability to perform under pressure before earning the right to graduate. Beyond the standard phases of training, Coast Guard recruits must master specialized skills that set them apart from other military personnel. Water survival is a critical component, with recruits training to rescue distressed individuals in open water and navigate treacherous conditions. Search and rescue techniques are reinforced through simulated maritime rescues, testing both physical endurance and problem-solving abilities. Law enforcement procedures, including boarding operations and suspect apprehension, prepare recruits for the Coast Guard's critical role in enforcing federal laws at sea. These skills culminate in the Confidence Course, a final test that replicates real-world scenarios such as shipboard emergencies, rescues in rough seas, and high-pressure tactical decision-making. Successfully completing this rigorous training marks the transition from recruit to Coast Guardsman, ready to protect America's coastlines and safeguard lives at sea. Modern trends and innovations in basic training. That military training has evolved significantly with the integration of advanced technology, transforming how recruits prepare for combat. Virtual reality simulations now allow trainees to experience battlefield scenarios in a controlled, immersive environment, improving their ability to react under stress. Artificial intelligence-driven scenario training enhances decision-making by generating unpredictable combat situations, forcing recruits to adapt in real time. These technologies provide a safer and more efficient way to teach complex tactics, from urban warfare to cyber defense, ensuring that modern soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines are equipped for the evolving threats of 21st century warfare. By incorporating these digital advancements, the military can accelerate skill development while reducing the logistical burdens of traditional live training exercises. Alongside technological advancements, there is a growing emphasis on mental resilience to address the psychological demands of military service. Expanded mental health programs now focus on stress management, emotional endurance, and techniques to help recruits cope with high-pressure environments. Training curricula increasingly incorporate battlefield stress management, teaching recruits how to maintain focus and decision-making capabilities under extreme conditions. Recognizing that mental toughness is just as vital as physical strength, these programs aim to reduce stress-related dropouts and improve long-term retention in the force. By equipping recruits with tools to manage psychological challenges, the military ensures they are prepared not only for combat, but also for the mental strains of military life. Training has also adapted to accommodate the increasing presence of women and the push for greater gender integration. More coeducational training opportunities have emerged, breaking down historical barriers while maintaining rigorous standards for all recruits. Physical training programs have been refined to account for physiological differences, while preserving the military's core emphasis on combat readiness. These adjustments ensure that training remains equitable while preparing diverse recruits to operate effectively in integrated units. As the military continues to evolve, these changes reinforce the principle that capability and performance, not gender, define a service member's effectiveness on the battlefield. To improve retention and address the challenge of attrition, the military has introduced expanded pre-enlistment preparation programs. These initiatives help prospective recruits build physical fitness, develop discipline, and familiarize themselves with military culture before they ever set foot in boot camp. Additionally, mentorship programs and support structures have been put in place to assist struggling recruits, ensuring they have the resources to overcome early challenges. By providing these additional layers of support, the military is not only improving graduation rates, but also fostering stronger, more resilient service members from the outset. These innovations reflect a modern military that is as invested in training smarter as it is in training harder, adapting to the realities of warfare while preparing the next generation for success. Conclusion: basic training is more than just a rite of passage. It is the foundation upon which military readiness is built, shaping recruits into disciplined, resilient, and mission-ready service members. While each branch has its own approach, the core principles remain the same: physical endurance, mental toughness, teamwork, and adaptability. The evolution of training, from its historical roots to modern innovations like virtual reality simulations and psychological resilience programs, reflects the ever-changing nature of warfare and the demands placed on those who serve. Whether enduring the Forge, the Crucible, or Beast Week, every recruit faces challenges designed to break them down and rebuild them into warriors prepared for the battlefield. As the military continues to refine and adapt its training methods, one thing remains constant: basic training is the first and perhaps most defining step in a service member's journey. Thank you for listening to the Track Pass podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with others who want to understand the people and preparation behind America's military power. For more stories, historical insights, and podcast episodes, visit us at trackpads.com, where we are armored in facts and driven by stories. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay curious, and never stop learning what it takes to forge a warrior.